Welcome, everyone. With me today is Nora Cohen, who is the co-founder of AllWellO, along with her dad, Alberto, and they make a line of cold-pressed juices and shots with clean ingredients. And they touch on a lot of wellness trends that are really big today, like protein, gut health. They're SNAP-friendly, so we're going to get into all of that during this discussion. So, Nora, thank you so much for joining us. And to start off, tell us about the origin of the company and the name, because I think that's really interesting and it sets the tone for everything we're going to talk about.
Sure. Joe, thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really happy to be here and really excited for this opportunity. So AllWellO was founded by me and my dad. And when we were trying to pick a name for the company, we knew we liked the all and the well. Those really represent the values of our company. And we're trying to figure out what was going to go with that. And when we first heard AllWellO, the name, it sounded so much like my niece, how she mispronounced the word abuelo, grandfather, in Spanish. And she would say, abuelo, abuelo, to my grandfather. He had just become a grandfather. And we knew that that was sort of where we were going with the brand. So
and he's got a background too, right? He's got a background in the food and beverage.
Yes, exactly. Alberto's been doing, my dad, I have the pleasure of working with every day, has been doing private label beverages for over 20 years and was really sort of encouraged to start a brand of his own. And when that moment happened, he approached me. I've always been interested in the food industry in doing it together. And sort of that's how the company was born.
Gotcha. And now, and health and wellness, big focus, but you also wanted something that was shelf stable, that will last for a while. Can you take us through the products in that context of how it evolved?
Sure. So we started the company in 2020, right before the pandemic. As many of you remember, cold press was really taking off. And Alberto knew that there was a way to do it better. So most cold press juices in the market have around a 90-day shelf life, which is really tricky for retailers and for partners. And we knew that we love juices. We drink juices all the time. And we knew that we could do it a little bit better. Alberto's expertise really is sourcing. So he really looked sort of around the world to find a manufacturing partner that could do what we wanted to do. So what makes our juices really special is that it's only fruits and vegetables. There's nothing added. They're organic, non-GMO, fair trade, packaged in glass, and have an 18-month shelf life at ambient temperature. So really sort of changing the game in the cold pressed juice setting. We launched with first our Go Green juice. This continues to be our best seller. And then we launched with 3 SKUs, our Tropical Escape and our Berry Delight.
I like the colors of these too. I mean,
they're very vibrant. And, it's all fruits and vegetables. So, and then we sort of grew the line into the wellness shot category. So we have a ginger shot, which is good for your digestive system, and a turmeric shot, which is good for inflammation. And we also have a clean energy shot with ginseng as sort of the root in there that gives you that energy.
That's good for these long sessions.
Yes.
To get you through all of the meetings.
Exactly.
So, now, and it evolved from there. So this was the first line of products that you had, and then the next line you started getting into protein and probiotics.
Yeah, fiber. Yes, fiber, probiotics, both. So we're really excited to be launching our new line of protein smoothies, and these are, what makes them really special is it's 12 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, the cleanest ingredients out there. So if you look at our ingredient list, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but it's fruits, vegetables, inulin, which is a probiotic, fiber, and whey protein, nothing else. So we don't have any sweeteners, no artificial anything, only things that you sort of know and love. And these products I really sort of made for myself.
Yeah, you said this is geared towards women, right?
Yes.
And can you explain why?
Yes. So I am a protein smoothie consumer. I love a good protein smoothie. And I've noticed that, the trend in the market is more protein and more protein and more protein. And you're getting 30 grams of protein in one smoothie. And you know what happens in my house? I start drinking the 30-gram protein smoothie, and then I drink half of it, and half of it goes to waste. So 30 grams of protein is just too much protein for women. So we decided to pull back a little bit on the protein and add fiber, because there's a huge fiber deficiency in the country, and make this really like your grab and go breakfast, like, or your quick snack. You hit some protein, you hit some fiber, you're good for the day. And if you have trouble getting in your fruits, and you feel good about that
it
too.
fills in the gaps. And I think why this is so important, timing wise, this is really good, because as we saw in the Super Bowl, you had Mike Tyson eat real food. Yeah. You had William Shatner as Will Shat promoting fiber with the Raisin Bran commercial. Then you had 4 GLP-1 commercials.
Yeah.
So protein is really important as GLP-1 support, and fiber is important too. So these are all things that, I mean, this was just at the Super Bowl, and it's part of like this overall wellness trend that's what people are looking for, and having that specifically for women too is, I think, is a home run.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that. Yes, 100%. These are really focus on sort of hitting the trends of the moment, and also like thinking of what does health look like, and what does convenience look like, and what can convenience, wellness, and taste all come together in a product. And I think that's really what makes our brand special, that we hit those 3 notes.
Yeah, and everyone's just looking to eat cleaner and drink cleaner, and even the kids. So now you have something for the kids too.
Yeah, so this year has been all about me, really. I have 2 little boys, a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. My sister has 3 girls. And since we launched these, they've been begging for a line of their own. And we give these to them, but we don't really like to give it to them because it's in glass. It makes me nervous, especially my 3-year-old, who is very hungry always and always wants some juice. So this year we're launching our AllWellO Kids juice line. And
I'll hold one of those, because these are really cool.
And well, these are mock-ups, and we'll get to that in a second. But we're really, really excited to be launching these. And these are sort of, as someone in the juice world, juice pouches that I can feel good about giving to my kids. So it's just fruits, vegetables, and water. They're organic, non-GMO, fair trade, never from concentrate, nothing artificial. And, we did a lot of taste trials with my kids and my sister's kids and all of my other nieces and nephews. And we found that there's really a sweet spot of 65% juice as sort of the place where taste meets nutrition. So our kids loved the 65%. We sampled a whole bunch of formulas, and they loved the 65% because it was sweet. It was something that they would reach back for again and again, but also, it's only 60 calories per pouch. Yeah. So as a mom, I can feel good about that. I know that I'm not, my kids aren't going to be wired on sugar the rest of the day or anything like that. So we're really excited to bring AllWellO Kids to life.
I think what's really important too is all of these products are SNAP eligible.
Yes.
Because that's a big thing now. We had a presentation recently where NIQ went through, they had a map of the country, and they were showing the different things that are restricted now. And a lot of people, all of a sudden, they're buying these juices and sweet beverages for their kids, and now they can't get them anymore on SNAP. Yeah. So here you have something that's healthy and available on SNAP. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think it's 11 states now have either SNAP waivers or are thinking about, enacting regulation around that. And it's a state-by-state sort of situation, but most of them are really pulling out on the sugary drinks. So you're not going to be able to buy sugary drinks on SNAP. And even juice has a lot of limitations around what can be considered juice for SNAP. There's, 100% juice is covered in most states. I think in all states, 100% juice is good. And most states have set the threshold at 50%. So anything under 50% juice is not going to be eligible for SNAP anymore, which is, obviously sort of creating havoc in the juice market, especially with a lot of brands that use artificial ingredients, artificial sweeteners, all that. There's a lot of restrictions around that now.
Yeah. So is that something that you'll be calling out in your marketing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's going to be an important piece of the story here. We want AllWellO Kids to be available to everyone, to families everywhere. And we're really proud that we can bring really nutritious juice to families everywhere. And you know, if they need to use their SNAP dollars for them, that they can.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's really important. So again, you hit on all of these things that are really, really key in the wellness trends that are happening, especially this year. And so now the designs of these are very cool. And then when I found out who you worked with on some of them, I wasn't surprised. So tell us how you're working with Emily Page on and what kind of things you guys were doing together. So is Emily Page from start to soul?
Sure. Emily has been a strategic advisor for AllWellO for a long time. And I've, you know, personally had a pleasure of working with her like more deeply in this past calendar year, actually. And she's really served in a bunch of different ways. She helped us. You know, we sent her early lab samples of the protein smoothies. She's really big into working out and all of that, and a protein smoothie consumer herself. And she was able to help us really tweak the formulas and sort of hit the right notes so that we're achieving sort of the goal that we desire with the products.
What kind of feedback did she give you?
Yeah.
Like what I'm very curious just personally over the process of how that works. Like you sent her samples. What would she tell you, and then how do you refine it?
So she gave us a lot of feedback. You know, originally we've been debating where the sweet spot is with the protein content. That was one piece of it, and she was like, you know, you don't want the protein content to overpower the fruity notes. Like you really want it to be something that people can reach for over and over again. She also helped sort of with the vision of the fiber and the product positioning piece of really leaning in towards women being a product that really is inspired by my life. And so on the protein and editing sort of the formula, we were like, these are the ingredients in here. And she was like, hey, I'm sensing something bitter. And actually the tropical had orange, like more orange in it. I think it doesn't have any orange in it now. I don't forget. So we took it out. So we completely got rid of that because it was bringing in a bitter note that we didn't really like. And then she's also been like a huge supporter and partner actually in developing the AllWellO Kids line. I wish I had them here, but our original designs had, the juice drink was really sort of hidden down here. And Emily was like, people don't even know what that is. You need to move it up. Like people need to know that this is juice from the get-go. And it was, you know, really, I think that we achieved that. It's really big and bright in the center. And she also sort of gave us some strategic direction in terms of our logo usage. So we're really proud to be kosher and fair trade and non-GMO, but she suggested, hey, organic is really what moms care about. You know, like you want that to be right next to the juice drink, the next thing that your eye sees. And now forever in my mind, I will have Emily being like, what's the first thing your eye sees? So she's been a tremendous partner in all that. And then, I mean, most importantly, for ECRM, she made these happen, which is, these are our mock-ups. You know, you can hear they have rice in them. We thought that these were going to be ready in time. And they were not. So our first production is actually going to be happening the first week of March. But we knew we wanted to have some physical samples that we could show retailers here. And we sort of out of desperation, my dad was like, call Emily. And I called Emily and she was like, I'll have them for you in a week. Like I'll actually bring them to ECRM for you. And it was like, Emily.
Yeah, it's convenient that she was here at this one.
So. And
I like the call outs because you have the other ones a little bit lower, but they're not missed. So you have the really important ones here, 100% natural, no added sugar, just fruits, veggies, and water. And but still you have these down here too. So and then it has a nice look to it. It'll stand out. And I know what she does. She'll run into grocery stores and put these on the shelf, mock-ups on the shelves, and check and make sure that they reflect the lighting well, and that they stand out next to like competing products. So I've seen her do that process. So it's really cool actually seeing some of the results of them. And then what about the coaching? She's done some coaching?
So she, honestly, she's been a huge help in sort of a lot of different aspects of her business, sort of from like deciding the strategic direction and where we're going and what we're really leaning into. And also even help with like our pitch deck, things like that, helping us sort of, you know, I don't really have a background in food, so it's really nice to have someone who's done this before walk you through like, hey, like think about it in this direction, or really like your presentation is lovely, but when do you get to what the retail buyer
Yeah.
actually cares about?
Yep.
Sort of fine tuning and tweaking what we already have to really set us up for success.
And your dad's got the background in
Yeah,
food,
but hey,
and yeah.
but private label and brands are
Yeah.
just two different worlds, really. We know how to make product, get it here,
Yeah.
put it on the shelf, but then the big part is how do you get it off the shelf? And Emily's been really helpful in making sure that we're sort of hitting all of those notes.
That's a good point, though. The difference between private label and now you're a brand, right? So you said 20 years he was in the business,
Yeah.
but as private label, now you're a brand. So now there's a lot of marketing involved. You got to do the marketing for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So with private label, you get the product to their DC, and then from there on, it's sort of on the retailer to do a lot of the legwork to make sure that it's successful on their shelves. Branded is different, so it's been a big learning curve for both of us. It's been really fun.
Yeah. Well, now you're here at ECRM. You've been to many ECRM sessions over the years, and this is where you're getting it on the shelf. This is that first part. But the conversation also talks about how you're going to move it off the shelf once if they take your product on. So, what's your experience been like at the sessions, and what kind of learnings have you had from your meetings over the years?
We're really big fans of ECRM. It's been a really good platform for us. It's really nice to connect, and have. We love the speed dating one, to have 10 minutes with a buyer to really get to know what they're looking for, what's the right fit in their store. And for us, it's both all of those opening conversations, and I feel like the buyers that come to ECRM are actually trying to make decisions. So you're gonna get a yes, follow up with me, or no, don't follow up with me. And honestly, both are fine. I'd rather know now, don't waste your time, if that's the case, than to do a lot of follow up and be ghosted. So it's really nice to just have, I think people here, it's much more decisive, which is really helpful as a brand owner. And we also hear all of the trends. We get to know a lot of information. When you have 10 minutes with a buyer, it's not only where does our product fit into your assortment, but what gaps do you have? What are you seeing in the market? What pain points is, the juice set experiencing right now? And all of that, we take back and we really think about how can we address those things and what can our brand do to solve some of those problems. So it's a win all around.
Yeah, well, I think that's a key component that you just hit on, is you're using these buyer meetings not just to pitch products, which of course that's part of it, but also to get feedback on how to improve your brand or make your brand more and the products more relevant to these retailers.
Right. And sometimes, it takes a few meetings, and that's also a really nice piece of ECRM, where you meet someone, say at a trade show, and then you see them again here, and then you come back next year and meet with them one more time, and that's when they're ready to seal the deal. Maybe they went out and saw, a few other juice brands and wanted to get a sense of what your competition was like and all of that, and then they're ready to seal the deal.
Yeah, sometimes it's a long-term thing. It takes, sometimes you gotta have patience and persistence, because especially if you're a new brand, you guys aren't new to the game, but if you're a new brand and you meet with someone for the first time, they don't know if you're going to be around next year, and they don't trust you yet. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that they have a lot of experience with seeing new brands come and go. Right. So, but once they see you the next year and the year after that, or they see you in winter, then they see you in summer, and maybe if you pick up some business or distribution along the way, then it's like, okay, they got some legs. Let me look into this more.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're active on Range Me as well?
We are. We love Range Me. I actually have a meeting with one of our team members every week where we go through all of the opportunities on Range Me and decide what to apply to. And we've seen a lot of success with using the platform. We've gotten, some big meetings with big customers that, sometimes it's a little bit more of a long game. You have the first meeting and then you have to wait for the review to come up again and all of that. But once we're big believers in relationships. And once you get, that first meeting, you talk to the buyer, you see, maybe it's not a this year thing, but a next year thing. So we apply to a lot of things. We always make sure that our product assortment is up to date. We
Mhm.
actually just added all of the new products that we are launching, because it is a really good sort of visibility tool.
Yeah.
And I also do like that you can see who's looking at
Yeah.
your account, because sometimes you're like, huh, look, what a surprise.
Yeah.
Maybe I should reach out to them, or you know, they landed on my page, came back 3 times. Like, I wonder what's going
Yeah.
on here. So there's some, once you create a schedule or a rhythm of
Mhm.
using it, it can be really, really worthwhile.
Well, that is the key point. You have to have that regular rhythm, that get on, you're on once a week. You know, you want that regular appearance on Range Me, because you have Range Me is where you get the exposure. Here is where you get the access, but you could leverage one against the other, like the buyer feedbacks, which if you're premium, you get the buyer insights from Range Me. You see who's been looking at what and for how long, how many times, but you may be meeting with them
Yeah.
at a session. So you meet with them, it's like, oh, I see you've been checking out these products. Yeah, so you kind of get a feel of what you should present, and so you can leverage one against the other.
Yes, absolutely. I think that the combination is really sort of critical.
And if you apply for an immediate opportunity, and the buyer is somebody you've met in
Yeah.
person in ECRM, that's a big plus too.
So it's funny that you bring that up, because we had the pleasure of meeting through Arrange Me connection with Kroger. I want to say about 6 months ago, and we're going to have a follow-up meeting with them. So I think that
Yeah.
through another Arrange Me opportunity. So I think that they got to know our brand
Mhm.
at ECRM, and now are excited to meet with us again and talk more in details about what it might look like to bring AllWellO in.
That's awesome. That happens more and more. So that's why it's so important to use both.
Yeah.
Use both. Be really active on Range Me. You only get out of it what you put in on it. You can't just put your stuff up there, forget about it, and expect things to happen. You got to do what you're doing on there all the time, making sure it's fresh, the information's fresh, the images are new. Keep it up to date, and go to ECRM sessions, and they play off each other. So listen, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing whatever new products that you have come out with.
Thank you so much, Joe. This was really, really a treat.
Awesome.